Ron, how did this trade come together? Why did you guys target him?
So, getting an opportunity to look at the analytics and studying the numbers, and the thing that was also obvious to us is last season, and if you take a number of his seasons that he played as the starter, his numbers kept landing him in the top 10. And that was one of the things that we kept looking at, and we kept saying, there is something to this. We got to continue to look. And as I said, we spent a lot of time watching a lot of the tapes on him, not just his last season in Indy, but some of the stuff that we saw from when he was with Philly.
With his skill set, what does he change or do for this offense?
Well, I think one of the things it does for us is it allows us to throw the ball vertical even more so than we had in the past. I know it's a big part of this offense, a big style of this offense. When we were in Carolina, we did some of those things. When I was with Coach Turner, when we were in San Diego, when the Chargers were there, it was a vertical attack. The vertical attack opens up a lot more things, opens up some things underneath in the passing game, it opens up some of the running game. Knowing that you're not going to be able to put 8 guys up in the box, forcing them to choose between 5, 6, 7 guys in the box, it will open up, and I think it really help us to attack differently our opponents.
What were the circumstances that led you guys to not only take on his full contract, but also give up a couple of premium picks?
Well, I think the biggest reason more than anything else is that the sense of urgency. I mean, let's be honest about, what you see in the league today is about a quarterback. And when you have an opportunity to get a young man that has that type of ability, you've got to strike, and that was what we decided. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to put ourselves in a position where we were going to have to outbid anybody. We wanted to make sure we got what we wanted, and at the end of the day, it's like what happened last year. Does anybody really remember what the trade is if it's successful? And I get it if it doesn't work, but our intention, everything we plan to do is to be successful.
Did you receive any intel that other teams were in the mix for him?
Well, there was some conversation, and I'm going to leave it at that as far as that's concerned. But, for us, more so than anything else, our concern was landing who we felt could really be a guy that could help us. And as he said, we have a vision of going forward. We've made a name change. We're changing the roster over more so than anything else. And this is an opportunity for us to start taking steps going, in the direction we believe we can.
I imagine there had to be some trepidation knowing 2 teams in a row had decided to move on with him in a pretty aggressive way. So how did you get past that?
Well, it was very interesting because, when you talk to certain people, you talk to some of the coaches he's had in the past that I know very well and listen to what they have to say. It was contradictory to what was happening. What I found very telling is when 2 team captains on the team that he just left come out and were dumbfounded that he was being traded, but yet had nothing but positive things to say about him. That's more than enough as far as I'm concerned, because the players know. If there's one thing that happens in this league, the players know exactly what's going on. The players know exactly who people are. You can't fool them, I can tell you that much.
More than just as a passer, what do you see in Carson as a leader, as a face of this franchise?
What I like is when you watch him play the game, more so than anything else. It's about really what a guy does on the field. I think that really is indicative. The next step then is the locker room. And again, as I said, when you see guys come out that just played with him, just got done having a season that they had every opportunity, but yet don't put the blame on him solely, then there's something there, in my opinion. And I really did take that to heart.
Do you see this as a solution to quarterback now?
I believe it is. I believe it's what we're looking for. His skill set speaks very well for us, especially with what we want to do and how we want to attack our opponents. And as far as our quarterback position, I like our quarterback position. I think there's a place for the guys that we have on the roster right now. I think Taylor's a guy that's going to be there and help us and be part of our 53 as we go forward.
Does this trade preclude you from drafting a quarterback?
No, this trade doesn't preclude us from doing anything, but he is our QB1 going forward. And again, as he said, and I do hope, I'd love to see this be a very long tenure. I really do, and I mean that.
Did taking on his contract in full, did that force you guys to adjust
yes,
in any
ways?
Yes,
it did. And that's the one thing that to be very clear and very upfront about is that, this did impact what our planning was. We were planning for some other things in case something else came to fruition. But this absolutely did most certainly impact what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it.
We'll take 3 more.
Did you take on the $28 million salary? Was there any negotiation of trying to have Indy eat some of that number?
That was something we talked about a little bit, but at the end of the day, if it was going to be something that could have held this up and created a situation where we could lose him, we went ahead and just decided that was the best thing for us. One of the things I really do appreciate was in talking to the Snyders and really them just saying, hey, look, if this is what's going to take, let's get it done. We'll adjust and we'll be able to handle certain situations.
Ron, when you know he's been in that situation where he has been traded by 2 teams in 2 years, when you talk to him, what's your message to him? What was that conversation?
The message more so than anything else is that we believe in him. I mean, that's why we went and did it. If we didn't, we wouldn't have done the things that we did. We wouldn't have committed what we committed. And really to look at a young man who's especially a guy of faith, in my opinion, to show that you do believe and trust in him. I think that's a very big deal. And so my intent was to make sure he knew it, to make sure he understood that it was, because we believe in him, we want him here, that he is wanted here, and I think that helps make the transition a little bit easier too as well.
Ron, do you think this impact, or how do you think this impacts Terry's long-term future here?
Oh, I think it helps it, most certainly. It points in the direction. His skill set feeds very well into what we expect to do with the offense. It really does. He can throw the vertical ball very well, but he's also a spot-on passer, especially in a quick game. And again, those are some of Terry's skills that are just tremendous. And we really think that this could be a real good part of it.
Ron, what do you like about Andrew Norwell, and how does he a different player now than he was in Carolina?
He's still pretty much the same guy, just a little bit older. Very smart, crafty football player. The thing I loved about Andrew was he was an undrafted free agent. But that didn't deter him from becoming who he is today as a football player. He's a physical player, smart football player. He's a guy that I think his teammates are going to find is very loyal as well. So, it's exciting to have a young man like that back on our football team.
Can you walk us through what happened with J.D. McKissick, him going to Buffalo and then coming back?
That's something that you'll have to talk to J.D. about more so than anything else. But knowing that he wanted to come back, that was probably the biggest thing.